Here, this wall deals with some of our great African thinkers, women. Remember the mother of the civil rights movement, Rosa Parks? Well, Rosa Parks was not the first one to say, I'm not giving up my damn seat. There was a young girl, and the young woman lives in New York.
Yes, she's alive.
She's alive and about 75 years old. The reason that they didn't use her is because she didn't present that picture, you got a
She was too young.
fair complexion, good job. This young girl was dark, pregnant, had dropped out of school, and did not depict that image that the civil rights movement at that time thought should be displayed. We have Oprah Winfrey.
Too, don't we?
Yeah, okay, really. One of the richest African American women. Here we have other people, Mary McLeod Bethune, Condoleezza Rice,
Condoleezza Rice.
Condoleezza,
that was right.
Okay. But she's on the wall because she is one of the first black women, not woman, because Madeleine Albright was the first woman to be Secretary of State. Then we have Barbara Jordan out of Texas, first black woman to be a member of Congress.
Yes.
Here, this is a sister born in America. Her name is Dr. Beryl Dorset. She was the Secretary of Education under the Reagan administration, responsible for billions of dollars. She comes to Ghana several times a year. She brings groups. When you travel with her, first of all, you have to do work in the community. Then after the work is done, then you can go on vacation. She has built schools, birthing center, they have an organic farm and other things. She is in Kumasi. She is also someone who has been extremely supportive. For example, people like Bomani. Her thing when she came is that I want to help to support my brothers and sisters who are also living here. I'm supporting Ghanaians, but I also want to support my own. And people that refuse to let her do that, because one of the things that we used to do is reenactments of the capture of enslaved Africans. And they wanted those for the groups. But then Ghanaians thought, well, why should we give One Africa $20 a person? So they decided they weren't going to give it to us. So when people asked for it, they would say, oh, they don't do that no more. And so help me, the ancestors are so powerful that every daggone time they tried it, for some reason, I was at the Castle Dungeons. And I would see people and say, Miss Robinson, what are you doing here? They said that you're not here anymore, or you don't do the door of no return. I said, that's not true. Nobody got in touch with me. So she told the tour operator, either you give me what I asked for, or I will remove your business, my business. And she did. She took her business away from them. And every time they come to Ghana, they come here. Now, they may not come here and stay, but they will come here and eat. And they have supported most of the projects that we've had going. Okay. So these are some of our great sisters. Here, we can't forget Fannie Lou Hamer, because Fannie Lou Hamer fought for our right to be able to vote. So why is it that today, after all of those years and all the sufferation that she and others went through, that every 25 years in the United States of America, the Voters' Rights Bill is reviewed to determine whether or not we're going to have the right to vote?
Because they won't take it away.
Duh.
They never wanted us to have it to begin
They
with.
never wanted us to have
Never wanted us to
it
have
to
it.
begin with, okay? So Fannie Lou Hamer, Angela Davis. I met Angela Davis about 3 months ago. After long years, sister's looking good, still very, very strong.
Still
Okay?
speaking strong.
And still, yes, she is. And we can't forget Shirley Chisholm out of Brooklyn. First black woman to run for president of the United States, and she pulled them votes. She didn't get it, but she pulled enough to make a change. And this wall is the wall of my family.
Yes.
Across the top, that's my king man, Nana Kofu, and my grandparents, my senior mothers. These are, see here, we call our aunts and uncles senior mothers, junior mothers, senior fathers, junior fathers. Okay, but these are my junior and senior mothers, and my family.
Who's in marriage? The picture there, the black and white. Right
That
there.
what there?
No, right here.
Down to right,
With the tie.
just above your left shoulder.
Above your certificate.
Oh, this is my senior mother and my senior father.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's a picture of them at their youth. These are my certificates of ancestry. One for me,
Okay.
that states that I am of the Mindi people from Sierra Leone.
Wow.
And my husband's ancestry, who is Minde Crew. Okay.
Oh, and he's
And-
Hausa. Okay. Penny's daughter.
And no, this is not Penny's daughter. That's one of my grandchildren. My grandchildren, of which I have 23.
Wow.
7 great-grandchildren. And this is my mom, my dad, my brother, my grandfather. Okay. And I was talking to someone today. Yes, we were talking about traveling and being able to do what you want to do with your life. Well, this is a picture of me going through the Peruvian desert.
Wait, where's that at?
Right here.
Okay.
I went through the Peruvian desert, baby, and I had an opportunity to roll down a sand dune. And when I finally got down to the bottom, I would never do that again. It took me about 4 days to get the sand out of places that I could not reach. So this is my family. Now this is really very funny. If you remember, back in the day, remember the comic books? And there was Superman. Well, Superman had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And her girlfriend,
Right.
right, Lois Lane. So Lois Lane said to Superman one day, she said, you know, Superman, I'm going to get in that body mold because I must be a black woman for 24 hours. So she gets into the body mold and she comes out as a black woman. She better be glad I wasn't at that control, because that girl would have been black for a long time. Because it takes more than 24 hours to know what being black is like. But just to show you the mindset, it's like, I want a tan, okay, but it ain't gonna last, okay. So tan me quick. Oh, okay, it's gonna fade. So, and this was actually a comic book that came out back in the 50s. Okay. Then as we move along, everybody remembers Aunt Jemima.
Yes.
And I understand that Aunt Jemima is one gorgeous looking broad now. They say she got
glamorized.
yeah, they glamorized
Yeah,
her.
she
She got
was different.
permed hair, got on a fancy garment and everything. Yeah. And I bet she can't make no pancakes though, yes. But this is Aunt Jemima, you know, our cookie box, okay? And this is what she used to look like before she got glamorized, okay? They took that apron off and put on
And
mini
Uncle
skirt.
Ben's.
And Uncle Ben's.
Uncle
looked-
Ben's, he looks different too.
Yeah. And we all remember Ida B. Wells. Ida B. Wells began to collect data on lynchings. So that as at, from 1859, over 5,000 enslaved Africans, period. This was after slavery. So just imagine, as since 1859, they began recording the numbers of us who had been raped, lynched, men, women, and children. And there's this book called Without Sanction, terrible book, but it shows all of the pictures, or many of the pictures. And you know, the Europeans were sending out postcards all over the United States, all right? So these are just some other pictures and things that deal with our issue. You remember, what's his name? Ronald Brown?
Yes.
When Ron Brown started talking about what he wanted to do to help Africa, he wound up with a bullet in the back of his head. Okay, they say the plane crashed. Wasn't the plane crash that killed him. It was that bullet to the back of his head. Here are some more pictures that deal with the enslavement of African people, apartheid in South Africa. Well, apartheid in South Africa was comparatively new to apartheid in America. We lived under that system for hundreds of years. This picture here, this area is a tribute to the man that invited us, who was a traditional ruler in Cape Coast, who invited us to come home to Ghana. His name was Nanembra. This particular picture, President Rawlings called me out of the audience. And you know, that's the thing about living in Africa. I was really so surprised that the president of a country knew me.
Yes,
You
you're
know, I was
American.
like, what? So sure enough, we were at Panifest, and the president told him to go and find my husband. Well, my husband went someplace. He was buying plates somewhere. Then, so the president said, well, get the wife. So his chief officer came and said, the president would like you to come up and say a few words. And I was like, the president? Really, president? So sure enough, I went up and I'm speaking, and you see the expression on his face. One of the things that I said, you really have to be careful of how you use the words. And I was talking about how glad we were here to be there and what we want to do, and we're going to fire this place up. And the president looked at me like this, and then I realized, fire this place up? No, Mr. President, not like that. We're not really going to set fire, but you know, it's an expression that we use in America. So he told me it was all over. That's he looked at me like, oh, revolution. Girls getting ready to start a problem over here. We're gonna have a revolution. So that was the picture with Rollins, and I did have an opportunity. My husband and I and other members of our community, we did meet with President Rollins on several occasions. He took me flying in his jet around Accra, and he was one of the presidents that listened, that spoke to our issue. Here, a tribute to African leaders. Now, good, bad, or indifferent, they are African leaders, okay? And one of the reasons, and then we have first African to be president of a country.